Hi, I've been asked to make a video how I'm making these masks. I'm not a seamstress, and a lot of people who have sewing machines but they're not seamstresses, they don't do things perfectly, are asking if I'll share my video for non-perfect non-seamstress masks. Okay. I tried several different styles, and this was the one that worked for me the best because I am not a professional seamstress. They're a little sloppy, but they work really well. If you put them on like this and spread it out, it gives you the full coverage. I am making these masks for I made some for the ladies that are feeding our children in in our school cafeteria because they couldn't get a hold of regular masks. I am making them for our local EMT. I made them for all of our family members and friends. My mom and I are also making them for the people on the Navajo reservation who have a no mask, no entry policy right now. So we're sending stacks of them to people that need them. Our masks have a filter in them. I watched a lot of videos, and it looks like, I know that there are a lot of people who believe that masks don't work, but a lot of people, but a lot of our research is showing that they do work. And my mom's doctor told me that she needs to have a mask on when she leaves the house. So here we go. For our supplies, what we have is, I was able to find a bag of these loopers. I also I ordered this, I got this jumbo bag from our craft store, and I just ordered some more from Amazon. Some awesome people in my town have donated some material, and we've actually gone through most of it with all the masks we're making. I need scissors and the seam ripper, whatever you have. We're not, like I said, this is not a professional mask. This is us mass producing them because they are so much in demand right now, right? So my pattern for my mask is, I cut it out of a little piece of cardboard. It's 9 inches by 7 inches. And the felt, which is what we're using for the filter, is 6.5 by 5. The material is what we're using for the mask, and this felt right here is what I'm using for the inside. And here's a little stack of masks I've got going on, and here's a couple that have not been turned inside out yet that have been sewn. Get started. All right, so here is our assembly line for making the masks. And I've got the material cut right here. I've got the felt. I usually have a stack of felt cut there. And I have my stack. These are all of the masks ready to be sewn. I take a piece of material. I get the printed side facing up. I get another piece of material. I've read that a lot of people like to have the masks that have 2 different sides so they know which side goes in. I get the printed side and I face it down. So it's face to face. The printed sides are face to face. Then I grab my piece of felt here and I put it on there like that. Okay, so I've got all these ready to go. And then here's what I do with the loopers. I just kind of grab some. I kind of try to match them. I got a couple of purples there, and not that matching them matters at all. And then I cut them. Right here, I've got this piece of paper exactly 5 inches from the end of the table. I do a little stretch because sometimes I'm noticing they're too loose and sometimes they're too tight, but mostly if I kind of do a stretch, they come out fitting just perfectly. I put them in my little pile right here, and I'm ready to start making the masks. I start by taking it long way, and I put it about a couple inches before I start, and I go back and forth. And when I'm getting a little closer to the end, I stop with my needle down, and I pick my 2 earpieces. I lift up the presser foot, put my looper earpiece in right there. I let it hang out a little, and then I go back and forth over that to make sure it's secure, and then I stop with my needle down and I tuck that in, lift the presser foot and turn it. Presser foot down, and then I take off. I'm going to get that under there. I know that people who are seamstresses are going to cringe at a lot of the things that I'm doing here, But this is, like I said, I'm mass producing masks. My mom and I are mass producing them. And I'm not trying to do anything expertise. I'm trying to get a whole bunch of masks to my friends on the Navajo reservation. So I get to the end, I turn again, I lift up, I put another earpiece in. I leave it hanging out just a little bit right there, okay? And then I go over that earpiece back and forth. Then I head on down to the end of this short end of my rectangle. And when I'm almost there, I reach in, grab my earpiece, bring it around, and I leave it hanging out just a little bit so that, so that I'll know it's there. I go back and forth over it, stop with my needle in, turn again, kind of stretch it out a little, make sure I've got my materials together, put my presser foot down, and I go over that piece of felt. Back and forth on the end, needle down, turn. I'm going in here to grab that earpiece that I started with, my little looper. Make sure that my whole piece of material turns. I stretch that piece over to the end here. I leave it hanging out just a little bit. Even out my material, and I go back and forth to make sure that catches. And then I'm just going to go down probably another inch back and forth, and I leave this opening for the next person in my assembly line, which is my mom, to turn it inside out. Okay? Okay, so now she's going to turn the mask inside out that I just put together. Okay, and she's pressing the corners out. And now we are going to sew around the outer edge of the mask and she's going to sew close that little opening that we left. So this is what it looks like after she sewed around all the edges. And the last step is going to be, she is going to put 3 creases on the sides. So that's 1 crease, and then she pins it. And we're not measuring because we are mass producing. So we're doing as little measuring as we need to, or as we can. There's crease number 2. And crease number 3. And the very last part is to sew over the ruffles and the needles. Some people like to iron it before we do this part, and some don't. We've ironed some and we've not ironed some, just depending on how fast we want this done.
Okay, there's one. Right there.
Trim off the thread, take out the pins, and then you have your unprofessional homemade mask.